Hey, hi guys, this is Nitin Pawar. Welcome to my channel. If you are looking for job change in ETL testing, then this video will definitely help you out to clear your technical rounds. In this video, I'll be covering the different set of questions asked during the interview and how to answer them. So let's start with the set of questions. So the first question would be the introduce yourself. So whenever this question asks, so what points to cover during the introductions? So you should clearly mention your number of experience, different ETL tools you had learned during your tenure, related certifications if you have completed related to ETL technology. After completion of your introduction, he will the interviewer may want to know about the project overview. So how the data flows in your project, what kind of validations you perform. So he'll ask you like, please give me the project overview. So in that project overview, try to cover the different source systems, what source systems you have, how the data comes, what kind of validations perform over there, and then how your data loads and how you covered each and everything's like source, what kind of validations perform on source, like naming conventions, file present there or not. You might have the validations for the jobs, whether job running successfully or not. Then you might have take the reject records, or any records are getting dropped there or not. Explain all the things clearly. Try to cover all the points, which will give the impression to the interviewer that you are performing all the scenarios. Then he might want to know about your current role, your responsibilities in your project. So current role would be, are you like the test lead, or you're working under someone? What kind of tasks you performs? You just perform the tasks which are assigned to you, or apart from those tasks, you do some other tasks also, like creating the test strategy, or creating the test plan, or sending the daily status report or weekly status report, or creating the end of test results. Those things, like if you are performing then clearly mention those things during your, like, while explaining your current role and responsibility. Then he will ask you about the what kind of validation techniques you use in your project. Well, the data, it means that whether you are using any tools to do the validations, or manually you are writing the query, or like you are performing the data validations on sample data. Those kind of things, if you're performing using any ETL tools or like data validation tool, then mention those details also. Or if you are writing your own queries and try to perform the data, explain that thing. Then he might want to know about any automations in your project, or like especially you are part of that automations, or you have done any automation in your project. If you have worked on anything, explain that things to him. Then that person would, after completing all these points, the interviewer might want to know about the ETL and data warehousing concepts. So he might ask you like, what is data warehouse, what is ETL, or how the ETL process will work. Then he might want to know about the fact and dimensions in data warehouse. What are the type of fact? What are the type of dimension tables we have? So you have to tell the interviewer in details what is fact, what is dimension tables, different type of fact, is addictive fact or semi-addictive fact or non-addictive facts. What is fact dimensions? So if you want to know more details about this, I already covered those in my videos. I will suggest you go through them and understand in details. After covering this, there he might want to know the difference between the OLTP and OLAP. So you can clearly mention few points over there. You can say that the OLTP is an operational data, while OLAP is the consolidated data. Means that we are taking the data from different source systems and combining them and storing into the data warehousing. And what is the purpose of this OLTP? To control and run fundamental business tasks. What exactly means the control and run fundamental tasks? Like day-to-day tasks. Like if you have any business, like consider the banking example. So in banking, daily customers withdraws amounts, deposited amounts, or do their transactions. So how they track those things? They store those transactions in your OLTP database. And purpose of the OLTP is again then planning, problem solving, and decision support. Suppose any bank wants to take the decision like where to open the new branch or like close the one, so how they take the decision based on the data warehouse. They have all the historical data, and based on that they will make the reporting, and that report will help them take the decision. Then what is the data? It reveals the snapshot of ongoing business processes, and in OLAP you can say that multi-dimensional views of various kind of business activities. Short and fast inserts are updated initiated by the end users. So end users are doing the transaction here. Periodical long living batch jobs, and that batch jobs will refresh the data. I say that simpler queries are run on OLTP. Here complex queries are run. The processing speed is very fast in the OLTP, while it depends on the data, number of data, and the complex queries, the amount of data involved, batches and refreshed. Space, as we are combining and storing the calculation part, aggregation structure, so the larger database would be needed. Database design is highly normalized, and in OLAP it is denormalized with fewer tables, and those use of star and snowflake schemas. Backup and recovery, backup is taken rigorously, means every day, like half an hour or hourly, the backup is taken, because the data is the whole and soul for the business, and that data is very critical to run that business. Here, instead of regular backups, so I mean, like we are taking the data from some other environment and reloading the OLTP data as a recovery method. So these are the points you can cover for the OLTP and OLP. Then he might want to know about the different ETL tool used, or like you have what kind of ETL tool you have experienced on. Like you can mention that what different ETL tools you had worked on. Then he might want to know about the SCD types. So what are the SCDs? Like is SCDs stands for slowly changing dimension. So there are three types of dimensions, one to three. So you have to explain those in details. What is type one? In type one, we don't maintain the history. In type two, we maintain the history. And in type three, we maintain the history in different column. So you can explain in that in details. So he might want to know about the defect life cycle. So normally defect life cycle would be you raised a bug, so it will be a new. Then developer will open it, then it will get assigned to the developer, then developer will start working on that defect, so the status will be like in dev, then developer will fix that bug, so it might be fixed, then developer have to deploy that bug to your test environment, then it will be like in system testings, or it will get assigned to you, then you will test that bug. If bug fixed correctly, you will close the bug, or again you will like assign that bug to the developer. So this is how in your project how you raise the bug, what different stages it went through. You can explain that in the defect life cycle. So sometimes that person may want to know the details about the tool used to do the defect management, like where you upload your test cases, where you run those test cases, where you raise your bugs. So if you worked on any defect management tool, you can explain that tool to him. Like there are a couple of tools available like HPLM, Jira, DevOps. where you can upload your test cases, execute them, raise the bug. So you can mention that. Then somehow like he want to know the he will ask a question like, have you faced any challenge during your executions and how you overcome those challenges? So basically, whenever we are working in any project, sometimes down the line we might face the issue like data is not available or data get corrupted. So you can explain him that, okay, this is what happened in our project, and to overcome that challenge, this is what we have done. Scenario based questions, it depends on person to person, so what kind of scenario he may ask, but there are like you need to consider, like he will ask you about the migrations. So have you worked on the migration project, or what things to be considered during the migration project? So if that kind of scenario asks, you can say that we'll try to validate that whatever the consistency was there in the previous systems, same consistency, same performance should be available for the your next target data warehouse or the next systems. The table structures, the table views should be the same number of columns should be there. So all that kind of things you can explain him that way. So it's typically based on the scenario, how he will ask you the scenario. Sometimes say they want to know that I have millions of records, so how you going to validate those millions of records? So your project have already a data validation tool, so based on that you can perform it. Or previously if you have done some automations which will take this data, put it into the temporary table, and then do your validations. So that way you can also explain him those scenario based questions. Then he will move to the SQL. First question would be, he will ask you like how comfortable are you with SQL, and what kind of ratings would you like to give yourself, out of 5. So based on your rating, like you said, like I have, like I can give you myself 3 or 4 or 5 like expertise in SQL. Based on that he will ask you the questions. So here I have covered most of the questions asked during the ETL interview. So what he will do, he will give you an example, or like he will give you a table structure where he said that, okay, this is my table, these are the fields available, and consider the example of the employee table. So employee table will have employee ID, employee name, employee last name, his manager ID, salary, joining date, date of joining, all other columns are mentioned. So he will say that he will give you some values, and he'll say ask you like, I want to know about the employees who are also manager. So how to write a query and give him the answer? So for that I have already prepared the queries. So consider this example. So this is my employee table. This have employee ID, first name, last name, gender, manager ID, department ID, date of joining, and salary. He will give you all these examples and the fields. He will ask you like, I want to know about the employees who are also working as a manager. So how you find out those employees? So you say that you have to use the self join. You can say that wherever this employee ID and this manager ID is matching, those are the employee who are working as a manager. In this case, you can say that Vikram 1002 and Nitin 1004. These are the two managers available. So how you can write the query to get the details about the employee? You'll use the self join. You'll say that employee inner join with employee E2, give as alias, where even employee ID equals to E2 dot manager ID. So I want to get all these employee details, employee ID and their first name. I'll give it as a manager name, where employee ID matches with their manager ID. So clearly you can say that Nathan and Vikram, these are the two employees who are working as a manager. Also, they will ask you like, I want to find out the employee who doesn't report to anyone. So clearly in that example you can say that Nitin is the employee who doesn't work, or like Nitin is the employee who doesn't report to anyone. So if you fire that query, you can clearly see that manager ID is null, and that particular employee does not report to anyone, means does not have any manager. So the query might be like, you want to find out the employees whose date of joining is between 1/1/2017 to 31/12/2020, and the result should be grouped according to the gender. So how you can do that? You said that select count star comma gender from that employee where date of joining between those two dates, and you have to group it by gender. So if you fire the query, you'll see that one female and two males are there who joined between 2017 and 2019. Now there will be a questions like they want to find the nth salary, like second, third, fourth. Consider this is your table, and now you want to find the second highest salary, or let's say third highest salary. It depends on you, like interviewer, what kind of salary he wants to know. So you can use this query. So if you want to know the second highest salary, you can clearly see, but from saying you can say that it's 1 lakh is the highest salary, then we'll have this 70,000 as the second highest salary. Then we'll have Atish is 60,000 as third highest salary. So this is how you write down your query. You select the data from the first table, employee E1, employee ID, first name, salary, where the formula is n minus 1. N is your nth salary. So here we want to find out the second highest salary. So 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 equals to. In the inner query, you will say that select count of distinct salary from employee. You will give it as alias as E2, where E2 salary is greater than E1 salary. So what this inner query will perform, it will try to find out the distinct salaries for the employee where this condition is matched, E2 salary is greater than E1 salary. Then it will select those count of those distinct salary, and then it will perform where that match with that particular distinct salary, and it will give you the results. So if you fire this, see, second highest salary. Now if you want to find out the third highest salary, so by looking at this example, we'll know that the highest salary is 1 lakh, then second highest is 70,000, then third highest is 60,000. So Atishi. So our formula is n minus 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. So if you write down 2 over there, execute this query. Now you see that Atishi record is implemented. So this is the one way to perform the second salary. Then is another way you can use the CTE common table expression. Using that also you can find out your salary. So how you can write it down? Using with CTE as, then select star comma rank over order by salary descending, give it as a rank RN from that employee, and you just select the fields which you want to display. Select employee ID, first name, salary, RN from CTE where row RN, this row number rank is equals to 2. So what exactly it will do? It will select all the records from the employee table. Then this, using this rank function, what this rank function will do, based on the salary, it will give the rank to all the records in that table. So your records will have like 1 lakh salary will have the rank 1, then you have the 70,000 rank 2, then 60,000 rank 3. So this is how the rank will also get stored. So when you retrieve the data from that city using the rank number equals to 2, you will get the your second highest salary. So if I execute this, see, I got that second highest salary. If I want to find out the third highest salary, I just have to write down equals to 3 and execute this. So this is how you find out your second highest salary, third highest salary. So we have covered how to find the nth highest salary. You can perform second highest salary, third highest salary using the city and the normal query. So next our how to find the duplicate records and how to delete those records. So how you'll find the duplicate records using this set of columns based on which you'll identify that there is a duplicate in that table. So you take those columns, you select star from employee table, group by those particular set of columns based on which there is a duplicate having count star greater than 1. So using this query, you can find out. So consider this example. Here you can see based on first name, last name, manager ID, or gender, and salary, you can identify this record is duplicated. So this is how you find the duplicates in any table. You select the count star set of columns based on which duplicate is there, group by using those columns and having count star greater than 1. That way you'll find the duplicates. How to delete the duplicate records from any table. So here you can see that the syntax would be using the city with common table expression, any value you want to give with city as select those distinct columns based on which you find the duplicate. Use the row number functions and your row number functions over. Use the partition by using those distinct columns. Order by those distinct columns. Give it as a row number from employee table. If I don't write down this select star from city and directly write down delete from city where row number is greater than 1. So how it will delete the records? Firstly, I will show you. Suppose I'm selecting the records from the city. So you can see that the city is created based on the duplicate records. And what we want to do, we want to perform delete from city where row number is greater than 1. So row number greater than 1 is only for this record and this record 1 and 2 and 3. We want to this is the normal record and these are the duplicated records. So what this city will do, where row number is greater than 1, so it will delete these two records. So this way you can delete the records, duplicate records. Suppose there is a query like interview want to know that I want to display numbers from 1 to 100, write a query. So how you write a query for that? Again, using the common table expressions, you can write down with city as select one number, then do the union all, select number plus one from city where number is less than 100. So perform this action till that number is less than 100, and then you select the star from city. I'll give you the example of this also. So here is our city. So if I execute this, you can say that I have displayed number from 1 to 100. Then interview might want to know the like based on string. So they will give you a table name and they want to retrieve the field name from that particular column, saying that I want to retrieve the data before the special character. They will add a special character and they want to know the details about that. So how you can perform that? So let me give you the real time example so that you will understand this. So consider this example customer. So here this customer table have customer id, first name, last name, gender, and customer address. Sometimes the interviewer will give you this kind of example and he want to know the string before any special character. That special character might be like at the rate, underscore, or like space, or anything could be there. So I'm just giving you an example of the backslash. So suppose I want to retrieve the data before the backslash. So how I can do that? I'm using this substring. Select substring. Substring will have the three values. One would be the expression, then starting position, and the length. So in my substring, I'm giving the column customer address, starting position, and the length. The length I don't know exactly, so I'm using the char index function. So what char index will do? Char index will find out the position of that particular string which I will provide over here. Got it? Similar way, like sometimes he will ask you like I want to get the details after that particular, like after that special character. So in this example, suppose I want to know the details after this comma. So we can see that test address is there all the way. So how you can write down again using substring? You say that particular comma, column name, again find out the position of that special character from that column name. Do the add because we want to find out the string after the special character. So in after special character, this would be your first. Here from here we want to start, and then where to end. So we'll find the length, total length of the string, and we'll do the minus the position of the string. So consider that the position of this is like 14 and total is 20. So till what length you want? Till 14th you don't want it. So 20 minus 14 is like 6 characters. So that is what we are doing here. We are finding the total length of the string, then we are minusing that position of that particular comma. So this will give you the test addresses, this particular query. So if you write it down, test address. So this is how like you can perform the queries based on any like special characters at the rate, or it could be anything, underscore, or like at the rate, hash. It depends on the scenario. So that is how you find out the string after, before, in between. Then that person will ask you about the rank, the difference between rank and dense rank. Difference between the rank and dense rank is that rank will skip the next available ranking, whereas the dense rank would use this next chronological ranking. So how you can differentiate? Consider the city. So here what we are doing, we are selecting all the data and we are using both the functions rank and dense rank over order by salary descending both the times. Firstly for rank we are calling as RN, and for dense rank we are calling as RN1 from the employee. And now we are selecting all the values from the CTEC. So you clearly will understand the difference between rank. So for rank, what will happen? We have a duplicated value for these columns, for these columns too. So what rank will do? It will give you the rank based on the salary. One, two, three, four, five. Again, it find the same value. Again, five, but it will skip the next order. So after 5 the 6 would be there. So this is 6, but those values are same, so hence 5 5. Then the next value will be 7. Got it? But in dense rank it won't skip it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 5. In rank you saw that it skipped the chronological order, But here in dense rank, it didn't skip. So this is the main difference between rank and dense rank. Then that interviewer may want to know about, like, he will ask you what is the difference between union and union all. So again, you can clearly mention that union will never have the duplicate value, while the union all will have the duplicate values. So this way we covered the, like, how the difference between rank and dense rank, what is the difference between union and union all. Then that interviewer may want to know about the SQL joins. So he will give you the examples, he will give you the values, mostly the 0, 1 duplicate values, and based on that he will ask you to give the output of inner join, outer join, left outer join, full join, cross join. I have already covered that scenarios in my videos. If you want to know more details about that, you can go and watch this video, SQL join. So you'll get in details about the what kind of output will be there if you are using 0, 1 and null values. So in this video, I have covered mostly what are the different ETL and SQL questions asked during the ETL testing. I hope this will help you to crack your interview. If you have any questions on this, do let me know. I'll try to answer those questions. Thank you so much.